Well, welcome to the Speak Your Power Now podcast, the show that is dedicated to empowering women through the art of communication. I am your host, Cheryl Clarke, and this is a weekly podcast giving you a dose of practical tips, inspiring stories, and transformational insight that would help you break free from any self-doubt and unlock your true potential. Whether you're looking to enhance your professional presence, build meaningful relationships, or simply embrace your own voice, you're in the right place. Get ready to hear from thought leaders, experts, real-life women who have harnessed their power of communication to create a positive change in their lives and for the life of others. We are here to provide you with the resources and community you need to thrive. Let's embark on this transformational journey together. Subscribe now and join us on the Speak Your Power Now podcast because your voice matters, and together we're unleashing its true and full potential. Speak Your Power Now. Empowerment begins with your voice. Well, welcome to another insightful episode of Speak Your Power Now podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Clarke, and I want to welcome you. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, well, sit back, get your notepad. You know we're about to go in deep to get some insightful tips, strategies, and empowering tools for your communication. Well, before we get started, I always start with the Speak Your Power Declaration, because that Speak Your Power Declaration keeps us grounded. It keeps us in a space where we understand that this opportunity that we have here, we have to declare it. This opportunity that we have for life, we have to begin to claim it. So we do that by then putting in our declaration. We're declaring in the planet. We're declaring how we can begin to see ourselves more clearly. Sometimes we can't see ourselves until we begin to move. So come join me as we go forth in our declaration. I want you to take a nice, slow, deep breath in through the nostrils and exhale it out. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in through the nostrils once again and exhale it out. Today, I reclaim my power of purpose. Today, I declare that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today, I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today, I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today, I declare to always honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen. All right. Thank you so much for joining me once again. So let's go embark on to this topic that I would like to talk about on today. And this topic is all about your triggers. All about your triggers. We all have them. Triggers are a part of us. So I want you to actually look at what a trigger is. Now, I came up with something called the P.I.E.S method, and this P.I.E.S method is an unstuck communication that is a powerful 4-step tool that we're going to get into later on in this episode. So we need to begin to look and see what is a trigger. So a trigger is something that is given when a memory may happen or something positive or negative. It doesn't matter. A trigger is a trigger. But sometimes a lot of triggers can have damaging effects on your soul, right? So, you know what I always say, I'm just a girl from the boogie down that learned a little bit of tools that come to share with you. That's what I always say. So these triggers that we have is, it could be a smell, it could be a place, it could be a thing, and it serves as these emotions, it intensifies, right? So often when it triggers, it reminds us of something maybe distressful, a distressful place, a person, and it ignites strong emotional either pain or anger or frustration, etc. So it's important to identify your triggers. And when you're triggered with someone or something, you react to something. So for instance, okay, so when I'm not working, I like reality TV. So I was watching Love and Hip Hop. Big up to Mona Scott. She's doing her thing, girl power. Love it. So I am watching, it was an episode with Erica and Spice. Erica was triggered by something Spice said about her parenting. She tried to come for her parenting skills. And then in return, Erica was essentially triggered. She threw the table, she flipped the table onto Spice. Spice then in turn said some more horrible things to her. And then Erica then came back with a very harsh racial slur and called her a monkey. And these things that we go back and forth with, they both were triggered. And being aware of your trigger, and this is why I am here, giving you the key components. Listen, we all get triggered. We're human. We all get triggered. Staying in the moment and having effective communication is a skill set that you have to learn. There are major forces out there that will keep us in a negative state, and it all forms in our childhood, and rarely are we conscious of them in our adulthood. Okay, so your triggers imprints upon your subconscious mind. Okay, and when they are imprinted on your subconscious mind, below the surface or below your awareness level, triggers are going to happen. So what happens is when the trigger is like your warning, something happens, right? It happens, either it's going, and then now you are not in control. And I call it the ARR. You're in the automatic reactive response. We are always speaking internally, our internal dialogue, monologue. We call that self-talk, inner voice, inner discourse. And we having these internal conversations. And it provides us with this endless verbal monologue. And a lot of times, if we do not get control over our ARR, it can hold you back, it can disempower you, and it takes over your communication process altogether. So the first thing you got to begin to know is that the awareness of your trigger. So staying present of what, and problem solving, self-reflecting, critical thinking, all of that is that this self-mastery of your journey of your triggers, because you can master your triggers. You definitely can master your triggers. So triggers can break down your communication. So sometimes we're in the automatic, especially when somebody says something very devastating, like what happened on the Love and Hip Hop episode, when she felt that Spice came for her child, her being a mother, and then in turn she was triggered. And that could cause permanent damage in relationships, of course, without them having some sort of mediator, therapist, or somebody come in and really have that, heal that, or build a bridge over that can damage that relationship, because they were really good friends. So as you begin to look at your triggers and how you can cope and not in harmful ways, because that was very harmful. When she threw that table, Spice also had I believe a surgery, a fresh surgery, and that could have harmed her. There's so many things when you're reactivated, you don't even know, you're not responding. So I'm going to teach you how to respond and not react, on certain things. So in that moment, some of the things that could have happened was rejection. Okay. Some of the other things that could have happened was fear, unfair treatment, hopelessness, criticized, abandonment, anxiety, feeling misunderstood, ignored, excluded, unappreciated, judged, not regarded. All those things and feelings come up, right? But you got to be aware that this is showing up for you. So when you begin to look at my P.I.E.S method, P.I.E.S, it's a P.I.E.S Unstuck communication method. I created this the years of me in psychotherapy with people, getting them quickly to the source of the problem. I'm a solution focused therapist. So with a solution focused therapist, what I do is we get right to the solution, we get right to the problem, and then we get some of the things and find how you can put solutions in for it. Solution focused therapists are great for people with anxiety, because with anxiety, you want the answer. You want to resolve it. You don't want to go through the pain. You want to resolve it. So there's certain, just so you know, just if you're looking for a particular therapist, there's different therapists that have different styles. Okay. So when you begin to transform these negative triggers that may happen, you're going to take your personal power back through your effective communication. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this is the end all be all. This is how I show people very quickly with the 4 steps. So with the 4 steps, you're going to view what is in front of you. And this is an opportunity for you to have self-mastery. So this technique, it teaches you a new way of how to look at your triggers in a more holistic way, in a way that you can begin to solve the source of the problem, right? And not just the symptoms. You're going to manage it all. So let's just give you an example. On any given day, you're going to experience ranges of emotions: excitement, unease, frustration, happiness, disappointment. These are all emotions. And often that we go through the work day and we have, at different events, we speak to friends, we speak to families, we speak to our partners. We're faced with triggers. Even a traffic jam, an accident, a loss, all of these things can trigger you, right? But there's ways that we have adapted unhealthy ways of mentally dealing and coping with triggers at times, which leads to misunderstanding, hurt feelings, and resentment and alienation. That's just what's happening right now on the show. Now, Erica's feeling alienated because now she says some things that the cast is mostly African American, so they're feeling away. Now she's feeling like, oh my goodness. Now she's also feeling hurt because how can her friend say this about her parenting skill? She feels misunderstood. All of it is just a melting pot of how do I now handle and master this? So your response of the events is based on your framing of how the circumstances is in situation. Remember, your trigger is any memories, experience, events that is intense. And you got to recognize how you're going to respond, and you got to look at your current mood. What did that do to you? So with the P.I.E.S Unstuck method, you are going to recognize and pay attention to the situation. You're also going to pay attention to your physical symptoms, like your pounding heart, your upset stomach, shaking, dizzy, sweaty palms, and being, just all of those are your physical symptoms, right? So I want to just give it just a quick example of what I always just base it with. I want to use just a simple example of a red car, blue car scenario. So just think, you're leaving your doctor's office and you witness a car accident. And the officer comes over to you and say, "Sir, madam, what did you see?" Ideally, you would state the facts. "Officer, I saw the red car hit the blue car on Mamaroneck Avenue at 6:04. Those are the facts. You're present in the moment. You've stated the facts. Now, the same scenario. You leave your doctor's office. You witness a car accident. The police officer comes over to you and asks you, sir, madam, what did you see? And you say, the fiery red engine car and the big blue midnight car. And 3 years ago, that same midnight car hit me. And I have a scar on my leg. Do you want to see my scar, officer? That is the human nature ARR. Those are not the facts. Those are your triggers. As a result, you're not present in the moment. Your emotional reaction is there. And what happens is you're typically off the topic. And now you're off to the races with your thoughts. The past seeps in. You're struck with all these perceptions of what really happened. And you're no help to the officer at this time. So the 4 parts of so this is what I'm going to give you, the 4 parts. Get your pens, paper out. You know how I do. Get it out. Get it out. All right. P.I.E.S method. This is the cycles. 4 parts. 4 easy parts, actually. The first is the P for pause. You're going to find inner peace. That is the P for pause. You're going to take a moment. You're going to give your nervous system a chance to regain balance. Because when you're triggered, it takes a couple of minutes. You need a couple of minutes to quietly breathe, observe your breath, become in alignment with your inner thoughts. Be present. What's happening? What's happening inside of you? Breathe. Remind yourself that it's totally okay. Be in the moment. Be with yourself. Be in alignment with yourself. Don't suppress it. Engage. Then close your eyes. Take a moment. Go within. You may have to take a couple of moments. You have to walk away. Relax. Notice for a few minutes. And then begin. Once your mind, body, and soul is aligned, then begin to talk. That pause is important. Then I identifying and taking inventory. What's literally happening? What's happening internally? That is important. Because if you're feeling judged, attacked, misunderstood, all of that, I want you to put that in the sentence. Be aware of your thoughts. Start to be aware. When you are aware of your biological reactions, you're going to see that your heart rate is going to begin to decrease, right? And then when you begin to look at that, you may find yourself frozen in the moment. So you need to identify what's actually happened. Put, my stomach is upset. I'm racing. My heart is racing. I'm frozen. I'm triggered in the moment. You need to write all that down. Be present with that. Because if you're not, you're going to react and not respond. Then you're going to go to the E. Explore the facts. Without any judgment. Explore the facts. This is where you're going to be intentional. This is where you're going to be clear. This is where you can begin to move in a space of understanding. Pause and then identify. Then you're going to reconvene yourself by exploring. Maybe you can go on a conversation with an open mind. Or maybe you can't. You don't want to, if you feel like you're going to be judged or you feel like you're going to judge them, maybe you can just look at just what happened. What were the facts? And the facts with them and with Erica and Spice is that they was coming to a conversation and Spice had then said something to her that was reactivated and she lost it. She lost it. And when you become that irate, you got to begin to look and see where you are. So if you can be objective, unbiased, and you can begin to move in that, then this is where I commend you to write it down. When you're exploring, you're specifically, systematically shifting into just the facts, right? The content is important, not so much the context, because context has the feeling and stuff in it. I just want you to do the content. What you saw, what you think you saw, what you heard, that is the context, the content. and not the context. The context is when you retell your story, you may add some more flavor in it, right? So effective communication depends on your knowing if you know the difference between the content and the context. Because the content is the actual words, what actually constitute the part of the message. And the context is the parts of your communication around the spoken words. You put your little flair in it. You make meaning of it. So this is the part where you can begin to look and how to explore the facts to better help you move forward. And you may not always agree with human beings, okay? But you could begin to move with mastery and how you could begin to not go in an emotional spiral. And you can begin to look at what's lurking in the background and be conscious and be aware of your words. Last is the S, solutions. Moving forward successfully now is you are conscious with what you're going to say. So the solutions, you're going to consider what all the three you put together. When you pause, identify, and you want to say what you have put together, and you want to look at the things about what the other person needs, what you need, and be generous and willing to look at that. Also understand that as you begin to generously listen to people, build here, you can begin to look and see how you can bridge a gap and make a solution happen. Because this is your opportunity. As you begin to master your communication on a daily basis, yes, daily basis, because we're always talking. And it's important for you to look at how you show up in your communication. Your communication is your power. Your communication is your secret weapon. Your communication is the thing that you need to then bridge a gap. Your communication is actually the thing that's going to bridge the gap between you and that other person. So today I want you to use your voice. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on today. This was a pleasure to be with you on this episode. And I want you to continue to join us as we're moving through these different episodes, finding your voice, finding who you are, and rewiring how you're moving with your triggers, unlocking your true potential. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Leave your reviews and your comments. Spread the word that we are here, speaking our power now. And I want you to begin to move powerfully in your future. And remember, sometimes your life is defined by one single moment. Let that moment be today. Peace. Well, thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Speak Your Power Now podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insight on your journey of self-expression. Remember, the power of communication is in your hands. And by honing on to this skill, you're going to unlock a world of possibilities. Your journey doesn't end here. Stay connected with us on social media, where we are going to continue the conversation and share your own stories of empowerment. So if you enjoyed this episode today, don't forget to hit us up, subscribe, leave your review, and share it with your friends. Also, feel free to share your thoughts with any questions or ideas you may have for future episodes. Together, we're going to build a community of confident communicators. Now, as we wrap up, always remember that your voice has power to inspire, to uplift, and to encourage and change. Keep speaking your truth and empowering yourself, and embrace the power within. Until next time, remember, your life is defined by one single moment. Let that moment be today.